Oh, okay. Got my headphones on now. Let's continue. So they are adventuring, I assume, and they're simply sleeping for the night with no one having taken watch, I assume. Dark magic. Okay, so she was a pupil of some sort, a ward of Shadow Weaver. So it could be that Shadow Weaver has a way to connect with her. It could also be that this is simply a dream of hers, since I'm sure she has a good number of memories of Shadow Weaver, and probably most of them aren't probably good. Oh, and I recall one of the Shadow Spies found them in the Water City port, I believe. I think it was on the balcony. So it would make sense that Shadow Weaver did locate her, but is probably not talking to her directly because she probably wouldn't have traveled out there. So she's going to be speaking through her dark magic, likely. And she's going to try to get her back, but I assume Shadow Weaver knows that Adora wouldn't come back, and so she'd be trying to actually trick her and to capture her. So I can only see that as being a trap, unless it's a dream.
Adora?
I like her hair. Looks a lot more scraggly.
Ugh. Adora, did you get any sleep at all?
Someone has to stand guard.
Okay.
Okay, so actually, once she woke up, then she was using standing guard as an excuse, rather. Okay, so Adora is really on edge. And we aren't sure yet if she's just hallucinating or actually noticing the shadow spies or some of that dark magic.
And my Aunt Castasbella just happens to be head sorceress there.
You'll love it, Adora. Plus, you won't have to worry about
Just so happens, I'm pretty sure it's some nepotism thing. Okay, so I assume that this is the same one that noticed them in the water city, this shadow monster, or shadow spy. So it's been following them. Now the question is it currently reporting back to Shadow Weaver? Most likely, otherwise it wouldn't be doing its job. So it must be constantly reporting to Shadow Weaver on the group about what they're doing, where they are. So that means Shadow Weaver can enact whatever plan she wants to now that she's located them. So, and since Mystacor is a very peaceful city, that would be a prime opportunity to be attacked, depending on logistics and time it takes to get there and all that. But I'm sure that's not too complicated in this. Oh, okay, heard crystal power. Now we get to see how she uses some element of her power. Because last time she was trying to obtain power, draw power from this crystal. So it seems like some sort of source or like locus. And so now the question is, why does she have trouble gaining access to it? It sounds like Hordak said that he gave her powers. So it seems like it might be the crystal also has a consciousness of some sort, and she has to kind of make a demand or request for its a portion of its power, and it will be granted to her. This is I'm totally kind of guessing out there, but yeah, she came back here when she was drained. So I think it'll just be like taking power straight from it and keeping it in her body or a gem on her body.
Shadow Weaver, you wanted to see me?
Ah, force.
Okay, so definitely is going right into the gym. And she's not restricted from charging up. Yeah. I mean, she didn't turn on Lord Hordak yet.
Clearly, no one else can be trusted to bring her back to the Horde. Least of all, you. Now go.
While I do really dislike Shadow Weaver, she has a good point right now, right? Like, if she believes that she's that capable, she should be doing it. I mean, and she has the power to do it, and better than her minions, underlings could. That makes sense. Also, we're going to get much better understanding of the limits of her power now, too. So I think this is probably, yeah, a good way to kind of see how their magic system works. And we'll also see how far the limits of her morality go, right? Because she's going to be deploying offensive tactics in a peaceful city, town, whatever it is. And so we'll see how little she cares for about like anyone else in the populace, which is probably nothing. That's the feeling I'm getting. And now Katra here is now she's gonna feel a little spurned because like she feels like that she should be the one to get Adora back, right? Because of frenzies. I wonder. Well, I mean, she already hated Shadow Weaver. I wonder if this is going to push her to moving closer towards Lord Hordak, because he was the only one that kind of like offered any amount of like essentially he offered her a place under his wing almost. That's what it felt like. So this is a bit dangerous for Shadow Weaver, I'd say, right? Because there is that direct threat to her power through Katra now. Yeah, I think this is a misstep on Shadow Weaver's part if she's just kind of leaving Katra off to her own devices, because Katra's kind of definitely the biggest threat to her now. Well, aside from Lord Hordak, but I wonder if there's more to why Shadow Weaver wants Adora back. I wonder if she knows like she's more important to like the dark powers or something, somehow more so than Lord Hordak. Like I'm kind of guessing like maybe Lord Hordak is making use of the dark powers, but she is more willing to sacrifice herself to the dark powers themselves, like joined with pure evil, whereas Lord Hordak is more using evil for his own ends. Maybe. I don't know. This is way too much wild speculation, but we'll see. I guess I can cut it out if it's too long. Yeah, you gotta close the doors. But okay, so now the question is that all of the previously sent out shadow spies, or is it just more shadow darkness magic? So there are still those other shadow spies, and there's just this one mega one? Or is she just doing that to kind of be able to communicate with it? We'll find out.
We were all so pleased when she started bringing Bo around. I was sure she had made him up at first.
Oh, you've done something to your hair?
You've come at...
Okay, let's just check out that magic. So we get the blues and the purples, right? I don't know if that's just coloration or if it signifies anything. So it also looks pretty similar. It's all like starry magic.
Glimmer, Adora hasn't seen it. It'll be fun.
Oh, well, I guess it's up to Adora then. What do you say, my dear?
So it looks like they have a big magical array to like redirect light. Okay, so that's more complicated than I thought it would be. So that's good. I like it. Let's see. It's probably going to get disrupted then by the shadow spy.
Wait, Glimmer's dad was your brother?
Adora, do you know what aunt means?
No, I was just hoping someone would eventually explain.
It's in us. And in Shira.
What?
Okay. Really? Like, she didn't learn about, like, the family relations? I think you would still need to know that stuff for military work, right? Like, I find that hard that would be left out. I mean, I can get it, like Shadow Weaver wouldn't teach her stuff like that, yeah, but I still think there would be a base level of training. Or maybe they don't have any real education in the Horde. Maybe it's like all military and you just pick up social stuff along the way.
She sought power and complete control above all else, waiting to exact her revenge.
They have a statue for this person. Waiting for revenge.
It's worse than we thought. You need warm sand and calming waves.
She almost believed her. So she did, after they located Adora, she summoned that big one and sent that one directly after her. Okay, so essentially it's some shadow assassin, we're thinking. Or shadow capturer, or shadow not good thing. It's looking buff.
Shadow Weaver was here, in the grotto, and she was in Sorceress Hall too. I saw her shadow on the floor.
Okay, so it has some effect on her mentally, but the question is the magic being like cast like right on her, or is it kind of coming through the sword? Because we saw that when the sword became infected, she did too. So if they can kind of target however the sword is powered, I wonder if it's kind of coming through there, but they didn't signify that anything is corrupted with the sword. So right now it's a bit of a mystery, but it's hinting that it's just kind of this weird, creepy illusion, dark magic being used on her. Perhaps as like an aura from the big shadow summon. Perhaps whatever it has targeted starts getting confused, or perhaps it is Shira that is catching on to the existence of the shadow creature, which is normally invisible.
Hey, Adora. Ketra, where are you? How did you find me here?
Okay, so it is playing with her mind somewhat, because Katra wouldn't be here, so I guess it's based on whatever's in their head. It's going to play with their emotions. It seems pretty strong stuff, so I mean, it is, I guess, a strong shadow creature, so it has a strong effect like that. We'll see if the Shira mode has any effect on that. I don't know if it improves any of her kind of like mental characteristics. She's got all the physical stuff, but I don't know if it'll help her against magic that's like affecting her mind.
Nothing will be left of Bright Moon but smoking ruins.
Oh, don't destroy it. 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 Please.
I am your friend.
You've ruined everything I've worked for. What kind of a
This evil shadow creature. So I guess it can be very convincing.
Friend does that.
Okay, so now was this just also from the shadow creature, or is it actually Shadow Weaver doing something actively? So that seems like a pretty powerful to be interrupting their ritual. Okay, my bet's on Shadow Weaver, because that's like a lot of dark magic. Okay, so I guess it's just a super buff shadow monster. And I guess it could do that because it's attacking them like where they're performing the ritual from, so it's not like it has that vast amount of dark magic. It's kind of just infecting them at the point where they're performing the ritual, so it's kind of has that expanded, like all the entire effects of the ritual become tainted, and that's why it looks so impressive. Maybe.
What do you mean it's failing? Where's Glimmer?
Yeah, okay. I'm like, that Bo would not do that. But the question are there more shadow spies here that are kind of helping to run cover for the big one?
You're to blame.
Okay, so it's probably just that one.
Adora.
Shadow Weaver!
Okay, so she is now, at least now, channeling her magic there, or is it still going to be the shadow spy? I mean, it would make sense that the big, powerful shadow spy would be able to set up a way to kind of allow Shadow Weaver to connect to that location and use their shadow magic remotely. Yeah, if it just like infected some sort of locus or artifact or whatever. Or maybe she can always just kind of cast her magic around its proximity. That could be, because it's like super dense shadow. I don't know.
Just as they did not understand me when I walked among them as light spinner.
I really should have seen that foreshadowing. Wow, that went over my head. I thought it was more a misdirect. Like they're going to make the shadow person, Adora, think it was the shadow person doing it instead of the shadow monster, but totally makes sense that like this super grotesquely like corrupted statue is this super corrupted person. Yeah.
You know deep down what I...
So yeah, we're still not sure how the sword works, so we can't say whether or not she's trapped in an illusion right now, but it seems more likely that they're not in an illusion and it's simply the shadow power that is preventing the sword from functioning in some way, perhaps severing the connection to whatever outside source provides that hero's soul. That'd be a guess.
The princesses don't care about you. They want to use you for your strength. Rule by my side.
I mean, she could have made a much better argument. I mean, she was a little close there, right? With they're only using you, right? Which could be like super true. But she's saying it in a super evil way. Not very convincing. Okay, so shield with some darkness dissipating beam. Also the blue and pink, cool. Although, did the sword turn into that so she doesn't have a sword and a shield? That's the first time the sword changed, isn't it? Okay. Because it has been able to change other creatures. So I guess it can change its form, and that's why I didn't like add a shield to the sword, because it can only alter its appearance. I guess it could alter its appearance to be a sword and a shield, maybe not detachable, though. Now, I wonder if that's special to the sword or if like a lot of old one relics can do that because of like the material they're made out of, maybe. Okay. Wait, how did that work? So we got the eclipse of the 3 moons, right? The light beam from them is charging the shield.
I'm not going back. You have no
Either charging the shield or blocking.
power over me anymore.
Is she redirecting? Or, no, she's releasing the stored power towards, what is that? Okay, so she's just directing the, oh, okay, so that's where the source of the corruption was, and she's purging the corruption by channeling that moonlight power through the shield, which already had the power to dissipate darkness, and this is like intensely dissipating the darkness. Okay, so it's just returning to its normal functioning. And so I assume her presence was only possible because the shadow monster had corrupted that central artifact and which gave her the power to connect to this location. Okay. She's just having failure after failure, so something's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure she's gonna turn on Hordak. That's pretty cool. I like that. The clouds like waves. Oh, dude.
You've been going about this the wrong way, old woman.
Oh, I thought she was going to take her mask, but... Oh. Do you know how to use this?
If you want to take down Adora, you have to go for the heart.
Okay, that was a little dark right away.